Errol Spence Jr. snaps, breaks his silence on his upcoming fight with Ugas. Is there drug testing, VADA testing? Find out in this video. Hey, stop that cat. Man down. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Let me jump right into it. Errol Spence Jr. responds. Now, before I get too far into this video, check out part 1 of the video. I made a video where there was a boxing reporter, Keith Idec, and he responded to Victor Conte, famous PED chemist, founder of Balco, who worked with certain athletes like Marion Jones and end up testifying, all kinds of stuff. I'm not going to go into the whole Balco scandal, but BALCO, just test that. He has a snack company, and Errol Spence has responded to the claims from him. I'm trying to say this in the nice way possible. It's up to you as a boxing fan, if you want to stay informed with what's going on in the world of boxing, to hit the subscribe button, because I really did videos, so certain follow-up videos like this, you'll only get the cliff notes. So check out those other videos. Errol Spence, he responds to the boxing reporter who came out and exposed the fact that Errol Spence and Ugas does indeed have VADA testing, because Victor Conte was questioning and pretty much insinuating or creating so-called controversy that this fight may not have drug testing with it, right? And we all want a clean sport, or most of us should want a clean sport. So he put certain people on high alert and panic with his tweets suggesting that possibly Errol Spence versus Ugas 3-belt unification would not have drug testing. So boxing reporter cleared it up and said, afraid, man, look at this guy. Rolling eye emoji. Here on planet Earth, I have a copy of a letter that is dated from February 17th that states Spence and Ugas are actively participating in VADA testing. This would have been a boxing scene story only if they were not enrolled and testing regularly. So basically the boxing reporter is saying fake news. This is a non-issue, non-story. Errol Spence took to his verified Twitter and said, man, I've been in VADA testing for every fight since KELL BROOK. Dude is a clown who ruined the lives and dreams of other athletes who went against the athletes he gave PEDs to. And in case you live under a rock, PEDs are performance enhancing drugs. So Errol Spence, he breaks his silence. He's saying this dude is a clown. He, has an ulterior motive basically. And I fought every fight, and he's had a lot. We can do the math. Since KELL BROOK, who did he fight? His first fight back, Barclays Center, Lamont Peterson, right? He fought Ocampo. Who else? He fought Mikey Garcia, 50,000 people in attendance, and he's going back to the AT&T Stadium in a few weeks to fight Ugas, right? He fought Sean Porter at the Staples Center, sold out. Hey, big fish. Who else he fight? Errol Spence came back after car wreck, fought Danny Garcia, and now he's fighting Ugas. So he's saying all my joints had PED, VADA testing, and he's a WBC champion. WBC, I believe, is mandatory with the clean boxing program. So you guys got to be careful with what information you get online. There's a lot of people like COINTELPRO and provocateurs that they put out information and you don't really know what the ulterior motive is. Me, in terms of the Victor Conte situation, I look at it like this. One, he actively supplied PEDs to actual athletes. This is documented with the Balco case if you look it up. So, it's kind of like calling the kettle black for you to insinuate all this nefarious drug usage in the sport. It's not like you have a clean bill of health, whether you turn state's evidence or whatever the situation is or not, right? And decided to clean up your life. You do have that under your rap sheet and under your bill of health, versus there's some people who are advocates for clean boxing or clean sports that they don't have any testimonies or supplements that were supplying. And this is what Errol Spence is kind of talking about in his tweet. The other issue is Ugas is working with Angel Mimo Heredia, and the two, Victor Conte and Angel Mimo Heredia, even though some people have linked PEDs to both of them, right? Or they've speculated or had suspicions, you know, whatever the case is. They don't like each other. Mimo Heredia and Victor Conte don't like each other. And now Ugas is working with Mimo Heredia, or has been working with Mimo Heredia. So it looks like kind of like a revenge plot. It's just like when a dude breaks up with a girl and the girl won't take him back, and then he has some revenge porn and he wants to leak her nudes or something because he's mad and can't deal with the rejection. So you always got to look at, why are people moving the way they're moving? Is this disingenuous, or are you genuinely concerned? And if you look at the tweets from Victor Conte, he's literally saying that he doesn't know. But a boxing reporter, as I reported in my last video, came out and said, this is a non-issue. My company that I work for, we would have been wrote an article if this was an actual subject matter, but really it's just fake controversy. And Errol Spence is confirming that. And I said this in my last video, outside of the ulterior motives, I went in a little bit more on that. On top of, you got to look at why people are moving and saying what they're saying and suggesting what they're suggesting, is you have to look at situations when only one person is bringing something up. Like, that could be cause of concern. Like if Errol Spence Ugas was, just like the boxing reporter saying, he's saying we would have reported about it. So how come actual journalists and media members and boxing reporters aren't talking about it, but it's only one person? Again, you got to tie it to the common denominator. Are there any ulterior motives at play? And in my opinion, I think it's the beef with Mimo Heredia. He's going to do anything to taint or stain what he got going on because the two don't like each other. Outside of that, Errol Spence, he's never failed a drug test in his whole career. And he's a U.S. Olympian as well. So he's been around for a while. He's 30 something. And the other thing is, I feel this especially with black athletes and black fighters, particularly in the sport of boxing, is there's a lot of people that speculate. I've seen it all on my channel. They speculate, oh, Charlo, they missed the VADA appointment, they're on something. Errol Spence, look at his nipples, he's on something. And there's a bunch of speculation, especially for black fighters that have never failed a drug test. But then Canelo Alvarez actually fails a drug test, and some of those same media members, some of those same fans, they don't care. They don't say anything negative about Canelo. And if anything, they try to sweep it under the rug, and they're dismissive of the fact that Canelo is a person who has failed a drug test on February 17th and February 20th of that given year. I think it was 2019. And no matter what he says, he failed a test with the banned substance that was on the bans list. Whether the WBC try to clean it up later and up the amount of clenbuterol you can have in your system or whatever, at the end of the day, he failed. You know, it's just a matter of if you believe the whole tainted meat. But the point I'm making is very simple, is you got people who have never failed a drug test like Errol Spence and the Charlos, black fighters, and old media keeps throwing their name in the mix and insinuating. But then there's actually people like Oscar Valdez, another person in Canelo's gym, who failed drug tests for whatever reason. It was something was in their system. Whether he wants to say it's the meat, if it's herbal tea, he failed a drug test. And some of these same media members aren't condemning or holding those fighters accountable for it, right? Alexander Povetkin. So my thing is, like, of course I want a clean sport. I don't agree with cheaters and people cheating and things like that. But at the end of the day, how come old media is not actually pointing the finger and catching the actual culprits that would later fail drug tests? They keep pointing the finger and saying certain guys, or this guy's on something, I know it, but they're not doing it and catching the right people beforehand. Things that make you go, So Errol Spence breaks his silence. He gave his 2 cents, called the dude a clown. It is what it is. Stay tuned for more complete coverage on Errol Spence versus Ugas. Subscribe to the channel. And I'm out. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We working. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation.